I've traded 2 crypto bull runs and made millions doing it, and I plan to do the same in my 3rd bull run this year. However, if this is your first time around, you can lose a lot of money even if the market goes up overall. The key to crypto is understanding the patterns of the last crypto boom and bust cycles, which is why I am presenting my full beginner's guide for the 2025 bull run. Today, I will cover my price prediction for Bitcoin, how to choose which altcoins to buy, how to use bots to enter and exit positions, my timelines expectations for when I think the market will peak, and what I plan to hold after the bull run is over sometime in 2026. For the first part of any game plan, you need to set long-term expectations. In crypto, the most important question to ask yourselves are your expectations for Bitcoin. The 3 questions you need to answer are: number 1, how long will the Bitcoin bull run last? Number 2, how high can Bitcoin's price go before you are happy to take profits? And number 3, what signals will show you that the bull run is already over? In that case, you will have to exit already, even if it hasn't reached your expectations. I have made individual videos about all 3 of these topics already, and I'll just show you them really quickly and give you one-line summaries for each. My updated Bitcoin price prediction for 2025 and 2026 is right here. In this video, I have outlined why I believe Bitcoin will reach higher than 200K by mid-2026. So 200K is still my base case target that I expect Bitcoin to reach. Next, how long will the Bitcoin bull run last? I believe it will extend into 2026, and the 4-year cycle theory is no longer accurate. I covered this in a recent live stream about the 4-year cycle and why it no longer works. In summary, the Bitcoin 4-year cycle mainly centers around the Bitcoin halving event, which repeats every 4 years. And it maps out about a 550 to 600 day period after the halving event that Bitcoin has to top out at. This has been true over the last 3 cycles. However, in this cycle, it's way delayed. The 4-year cycle theory tells us that Bitcoin should top before the end of 2025. But when you look at Bitcoin's current performance, it's nowhere close to the euphoria stages. Take, for example, the Pi cycle top indicator is still nowhere close to the expected euphoria levels. In order for the 4-year cycle to still repeat the same, Bitcoin needs to go on a huge run by the end of the year and reach 180K to 200K ranges in order for the cycle to still top out in the same timeline. I think that's highly unlikely, which is why I believe the 4-year cycle is going to be extended this time around. That doesn't mean Bitcoin will just keep going up forever. However, we don't have to set a very strict time deadline anymore by the end of the year. Instead, it should extend into mid-2026. So in summary, I believe the Bitcoin bull run will last for another 9 to 12 months. Number 3 question: what signal will show that the Bitcoin bull run is over? I have also covered this in my Bitcoin price prediction video that I made earlier this year. Simply put, Bitcoin respects a long-term moving average as the bull market support. This is based on the volatility that Bitcoin has over this past cycle. The specific support here is the 50-week simple moving average. You can track this directly on TradingView by going into indicators and typing in moving average, and moving average simple is what you want. Make sure you are looking at the weekly time frame and on a 50 SMA setting. That will give you this dark blue line that I have continued to cover since the beginning of the year. You see how Bitcoin has always respected this moving average level. In even the last 2 extreme fearful drops, it managed to stay above this level. This is the signal I'll be using to determine when the bull run is over. If Bitcoin drops below the 50-week SMA and closes below it on a weekly time frame, chances are this run is over because that drop will be too big. Currently, the 50-week SMA sits at 94,000. However, this level will continue to move up as Bitcoin trades higher and higher. So just make sure you keep an eye out for this in real time. Combining these 3 questions gives my Bitcoin exit strategy. I expect the Bitcoin bull run to peak sometime in mid-2026. My price target is at least $200,000 that I'll be happy to sell Bitcoin at. However, if Bitcoin breaks below the 50-week simple moving average, without conditions number 1 and 2 even hitting, I will still have to exit the market This is unlikely, but if it happens, I still have to respect it. The next step is to understand how altcoin seasons work in relation to Bitcoin's bull run. What is this term altcoin season? It almost seems like it's a sin to talk about it nowadays. This is nothing crazy, it's just typical behavior of altcoins' performance relative to Bitcoin. If you're new here to crypto, you might not know this, but altcoins do not go up typically together with Bitcoin until very late stages of Bitcoin's cycle. Instead, when Bitcoin reaches a certain euphoria stage, altcoins start to run very quickly and all the gains are made then. This is called altcoin season. The most important success factor in altcoin investing is to correctly identify whether we are in an altcoin season or not. If you lean too heavily into altcoins without an altcoin season, you just lose value against Bitcoin. However, if it is an altcoin season, then you can have a very easy time picking any of the top altcoins, and chances are they are all going up together. It's much less important to pick specific altcoins that are going up. It's much more important to know that the altcoin sector as a whole is going up together. So how do you track altcoin season, and when do you know officially that altcoin season has begun? The official definition of altcoin season is for 75% of the top 50 to top 100 altcoins to go up faster than Bitcoin over a 90-day period. This is one season, and when this happens for 90 days consecutively, that is technically altcoin season. There are simple indicators you can track just by Googling, and all of them will tell you how the current top 50 to top 100 altcoins are doing. The key tip here is to not try to front run the start of an altcoin season. Way too often, when you have just a couple weeks to 1 month when the top altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin, people on crypto Twitter will quickly call it an altcoin season. However, by definition, you have to have this type of behavior persist for 3 months before you can call it confirmed altcoin season. But you might say, okay, if I have to wait 3 months, then chances are most of the early gains have been lost already. This is true, which is why I like to combine both the altcoin season index and the Bitcoin dominance chart technical analysis in order to get a whole picture. You can Google this yourself. Bitcoin dominance is the ratio of Bitcoin's market cap divided by the total market cap of all cryptos. The reason why Bitcoin dominance is a clear indicator for altcoin season is because when Bitcoin dominance is going up, this means Bitcoin's market cap is going up in a faster pace than the rest of the market. This means Bitcoin is leading and thus it's not altcoin season. In the reverse, when Bitcoin dominance is going down, that means altcoins are going up in a faster pace than Bitcoin and thus it is altcoin season. This is why doing technical analysis on the Bitcoin dominance chart can be useful. As long as you can identify when Bitcoin dominance is in a long-term downtrend like in 2017 and in 2021, you will know that this is an altcoin season. Take the current Bitcoin dominance chart, for example. It is showing that this is the start of a new altcoin season because on a weekly time frame, a very long-term time frame, we do have a downtrend confirmed, having a recent high, a low, lower high, and now a new lower low. This is the classic way of identifying a downtrend. So I can tell you straight up from my analysis right now, as of August 22nd, 2025, we are in an altcoin season, which means most large cap altcoins will be going up faster than Bitcoin over the next few months. Because of the timing of this video, you don't have to worry about the start of the altcoin season as much because we are currently in one. But do keep in mind of the two things I have shown you, which are the altcoin season index and the trend analysis on Bitcoin dominance, because at some point, altcoin season will be over and the reverse will happen where you see altcoin season index telling you it's no longer an altcoin season and Bitcoin dominance chart telling you that it's stopped its downtrend and reversing to a new uptrend. That will be the sign that you should exit from altcoins. We will talk about my exit strategy from altcoins in a bit. Okay, now that you know how to identify the beginning of an altcoin season, how do you actually position in altcoin seasons to take best advantage of it? In other words, how do you figure out what altcoins to buy and in what order? The most important concept to understand here is the money flow in crypto. And I have made an older live stream on this already called How to Make Money in Altcoins When Bitcoin Pumps, talking about the crypto money flow. Simply put, when altcoin season starts, the large cap altcoins will start to go up first, then the mid caps, then the low caps. This is why you're seeing large altcoins like Ethereum, XRP, Solana, BNB, Doge, etc. all starting to go up first. This is the most important concept to understand, and it's very simple and intuitive. Altcoin season starts typically when retail investors are coming back after they have seen new interest in Bitcoin and their Bitcoin holdings have gone up. So they will go to the retail applications like Coinbase and Robinhood, and all of the coins that they have access to there will be the large cap altcoins starting from the very top. These are the coins that they have heard of already, and the psychology goes like this. They realize that Bitcoin is going up and reaching a high number, say over 120K. Light bulb lights up and they think, okay, crypto is getting hot again. I better buy some of the other altcoins before they go up. They think about Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Doge, Cardano, whatever they have touched in the last cycle, and they open up their app again for the first time in the last 3-4 years, they hit buy. This is how a typical retail investor behaves. They start there, and once they have made more money in these altcoins, then they will finally go down into the mid caps and the low caps and try to figure out what other altcoins are around to buy. You need to follow this flow and not try to front run the market too quickly. I am personally following my own advice here very closely, and I have covered this in this live stream right here, how to prepare now for altcoin season. In summary, I am mostly focused on top 10 to top 20 altcoins at the moment. I will only move to the smaller altcoins once these larger altcoins have already started to move. By positioning yourself this way, it keeps your portfolio at a lower risk because the larger altcoins will not suddenly go to zero if the market has a small correction. And it also gives you a higher probability to confirm that a long-term altcoin season is indeed happening and people are making the rotations. Just think about this for yourself. When you look at CoinMarketCap, if Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Solana, Dogecoin, Cardano, Tron, Chainlink, etc., these large altcoins do not pump, then why would all the small altcoins pump? You don't have to front run the flow of money. Even if your goal is to get higher returns in these smaller altcoins, you still have to track that money is flowing from Bitcoin into large caps, into mid caps, then you will accurately know that the money will eventually go to your small cap altcoins. But it has never been the case that Bitcoin pumps and all of a sudden all the money goes from Bitcoin into small cap shitcoins. Too many people believe this is how to make money in this cycle. That is not how the past 3 crypto cycles have played out, and there's no reason to say that this time is different. Okay, let me give you some practical portfolio percentage breakdown that I'm currently holding. Throughout 2023 and 2024, I have made many portfolio videos, and in those, I have kept about 40 to 50% of my entire portfolio in Bitcoin. This is because Bitcoin dominance had never confirmed altcoin season over the last 3 years. However, as we have confirmed altcoin season already, I have gone heavily into altcoins by converting Bitcoin into altcoins this month. Currently, my portfolio is 20% Bitcoin and 80% altcoins. Specifically, out of that 80% in altcoins, I have most of it in large cap altcoins in the top 20 rankings. So I have in total 20% in Bitcoin, 70% in large cap altcoins in the top 20s, and 10% in some low cap shitters. So to reiterate my current stance on altcoin season, how do you rotate profits from Bitcoin to altcoins? Well, you should be actively doing that now because this is what I'm doing this month in August. If you have a lot of profits in Bitcoin over the last 2 years, you should be using that to buy altcoins right now. However, when should we rotate from large cap altcoins to mid cap and low cap higher risk altcoins? I believe we still have a couple months away before that point comes. Currently, I am heavily positioned in top 10 altcoins as I have laid out in this live stream that I have covered just now. When most of the top 10 and top 20 large cap altcoins have all made new all-time highs, that is when I will know for a fact that full-on altcoin season is starting, then I can rotate into smaller altcoins. I think this is going to take at least another month to play out. My specific price targets for these top 20 large altcoins are outlined in my portfolio and my trading bot section, which you can find with the links in my bio. All my current trades are taken using swing bots, which automatically helps me to buy low and sell high with a predefined price range. For instance, I expect Ethereum to reach about the previous all-time high at 48.50, and the support level that I expected to hold above for the next month is at 33.50. The same thing on XRP, the low range support is at $2.73 and the high range take profit is at 4.48. This is for the next 1 to 2 months. All of these swing trade bots can be found in the link in my bio. You can go into any of these links and directly copy my trading bot and the same swing trade setup. I will be actively updating these over the next few months. When these top 20 altcoins start to hit their upper ranges, the bots will automatically take profit. By then, I will know to move into the top 30 or the top 50 altcoins and establish new bots. After those bots have hit their take profits, then I will move to the top 100s and then to the top 200s. This is how I plan to play the altcoin bull run one step at a time. I expect each wave of these swing trade bots to hit about 1 month at a time. So currently in August, I'm still just heavily focused on the top 20s. By September and October, I might move into the top 50 to top 100 coins. For a full tutorial of how to use these bots, you can check out these 2 videos. Number 1, how to use crypto trading bots to enter and exit the bull market. This is going through how to set up and use the bots and explaining what they exactly do. In short, these are called grid bots, which automatically sets a number of buy orders and a number of sell orders based on the parameters you give it. It not only acts as DCA strategy to go in and out of the market, but it also takes advantage of market chop and arbitrage. If market goes sideways, it generates more profits. And number 2, if you want to follow my current trade setups, check out this live stream about my 100K crypto trading challenge. This is specifically targeted at the bull market and trading altcoins. In this video, I have covered my exact positions on the swing bots that I have opened, with their entries, their exits, how much money I have put into them, and this is the trading challenge that I'll keep updating in new live streams every week. The same trading bot settings are also updated in my spreadsheet, and you can see right here, this is my current portfolio at 109K, which is up 9%, not bad. We caught the market dip last week on the live stream. Okay, that's all good while we are in a bull run, but at some point, the altcoin bull run will be over. So how do we exit the market and not hold our altcoins back down 90%? We need a long-term exit plan for the entire altcoin market. Again, let's use the same 3 questions. Number 1, how long will the altcoin cycle last? Typically, the altcoin seasons do not last for longer than 1 year. At least majority of the gains are already made. In 2017, the altcoin season started around March of 2017, and by January of 2018, it has already peaked. This lasted just under 1 year, and by April of 2018, we knew that the altcoin season was over as a new uptrend has been established with new higher lows instead of lower lows. Then we look at 2021, the altcoin season technically started around February of 2021, and by January of 2022, it had already reached a top. Even though the market was still relatively popular, people were only trading in between different altcoin sectors. We know this because by 2022, the Bitcoin dominance did not reach a new low. This means most traders did not see a new portfolio high. They simply were making money in some altcoin sectors, but losing money in others. This has been my personal experience as well. So the smarter thing to do was to exit the altcoin market entirely after that 1 year mark has passed. So fast forward to right now, we have just begun the altcoin season in August of 2025. And I believe this altcoin bull run will last the longest until August 2026. Chances are it will already be over before then. Next, how much returns can we expect from altcoins in this cycle? Some people like to use these lower ranges of Bitcoin dominance and say that in this bull run, Bitcoin dominance needs to go back down to 46 to 40% again. I disagree with this because compared to 2020 and 2021, we have way more altcoins in the market today. In 2021, there were about 30,000 coins, whereas today there are millions of altcoins out there, which are all included in the calculation of Bitcoin dominance. So I don't think we should expect Bitcoin dominance to reach these low levels anymore. Instead, I like to use the large cap altcoins as a proxy to calculate how much returns there can be. My 3 top altcoins that I'm currently holding are Ethereum, Solana, and XRP, and I have covered these quite extensively over live streams and individual videos. You can go watch all 3 of these videos yourself. In short, I expect Ethereum to reach between $10,000 to $12,000. I expect Solana to reach $600 to $800. And I expect XRP to reach between $6 to $8 with $10 as a stretch target. This means I'm expecting between a 2 to 3x return out of these most established altcoins. Then you can take the same analysis and apply to slightly smaller altcoins. If you're targeting the top 30 altcoins, these can do 4 to 5x returns. If you're targeting top 100 altcoins, they will be looking at 5 to 7 to 8x returns. That's about all of the returns that I can actually see from established altcoins today. I don't think you can go for a 10x return on any single altcoin without having to go way further down the risk curve and going for something very risky. Okay, finally, the third question to answer. When do we know the altcoin cycle is over? Very simple. We just need to look at the reverse of the altcoin season index and the Bitcoin dominance trend. Very soon, the altcoin season indicator will start to tick into red, telling us that most altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. And we will consistently start having altcoin months. At some point, the altcoin season index will start to reverse, where less than 75% of the top 100 altcoins will start to outpace Bitcoin. We will first start to have negative altcoin months, followed by negative altcoin season. This will also match the trend reversal on Bitcoin dominance. Currently, Bitcoin dominance is in a macro downtrend with weekly lower highs and lower lows. This is likely to continue until at some point it will reverse itself. TA doesn't help us predict when this will happen, so this may happen next month or it may happen 12 months from now. All we know is that the trend will continue this way until it breaks and reverses. But when it reverses, the signal will be very clear, just like in 2018 and in 2021. All we need to watch for is for this downtrend to break and for the lower highs and lower lows to reverse into higher highs and higher lows. So let's say one of these eventual bounces on Bitcoin dominance will bounce higher and not go down further than the last low. This will be a higher low and then bounce higher again, which will be higher than the previous high. This will create a new higher high. By the time this happens, we will know that the altcoin season is over and Bitcoin dominance is again going into an uptrend. This will be a repeat of what happened in April of 2023. When this happens, I will know for sure that the altcoin cycle is over, and that will be my sign to fully exit the altcoin holdings. Of course, you will say, by the time this happens, most of the altcoins will already be down 50%. That is true, which is why I like to combine both my high-end targets and Bitcoin dominance analysis to form a overall strategy. If the top 10 altcoins have all made a new all-time high that's 2 to 3x multiples above the previous highs, that would be a great time to exit all altcoins. Even if Bitcoin dominance is still trending down, you are not likely to get much higher upsides on smaller altcoins. When altcoins peak, they tend to peak all together. Sure, there are still rotations between altcoin sectors to be made, like in 2021 and 2022, but majority of the easy money have been absorbed by the market. So translating these to real targets, if Ethereum hits 10 to 12K, XRP hits $6 to $8, Solana hits $600 to $800, or BNB hitting $1,500 to $2,000, Tron hitting 75 cents to 90 cents, Dogecoin going back to previous all-time high at 75 cents, Cardano going to previous all-time high and above like $3. These high-end targets will coincide with the frothy euphoria stages of the bull run. In my mind, I'm mainly targeting the 8 or so altcoins that have survived for the last 2 cycles or more, namely Ethereum, Solana, XRP, BNB, Cardano, Doge, Link, and Tron. Out of these 8 altcoins, if just 3 of them can hit 2x above their previous all-time highs, while the others have all reached close to the previous all-time high, that will be good enough of a signal to tell me that most retail have come back and bought up their favorite altcoins from the last cycle, and that will be good enough for me to exit altcoins entirely. And finally, there is one scenario that is unlikely to happen, but still we need to consider. And that is if Bitcoin itself ends the bull market and breaks below the 50-week simple moving average, the blue average line that I have shown you before altcoins have even peaked. If this happens and Bitcoin for some reason drops way below the 50-week SMA, then all bets are off. Even if Ethereum still hasn't reached 10K and Solana hasn't reached 600, that doesn't matter anymore. Everything needs to be based on the uptrend continuing for Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin breaks below 50-week SMA, I will need to sell all of my altcoins as well. Okay, finally, let's bring it back to my long-term goal after this Bitcoin and altcoin bull run. After altcoins have hit my exit conditions, I will sell all of my altcoins, including Ethereum, XRP, Solana. This is because I don't see them outpacing Bitcoin anymore once they have reached multiple hundreds of billions to around $1 trillion in market cap, like in the case of Ethereum and XRP. After all, these coins are still more like technology stocks instead of a whole asset class and a store of value like a digital gold. There can only be one digital gold after all, and that is Bitcoin. Now, depending on the price of Bitcoin at the point that I exit my altcoins, if Bitcoin is still trading below 200K, I may hold all my portfolio in Bitcoin until it reaches 200K. After Bitcoin reaches its take profit target, I would then sell half of my Bitcoin into cash and hold my portfolio about half Bitcoin, half USD. I don't plan to sell all of my Bitcoin into cash because I believe Bitcoin will still run much higher, potentially reaching $1 million and beyond given enough time. This is talking about 10 years down the line. I have made a video about this already in 2024. In here, I have explained why Bitcoin reaching $1 million is not so far-fetched as a goal. Even though $1 million sounds like a huge number, when you think about how much wealth there is in the world in total, this is not a big difference. The quick summary is, over the next 10 years, the projected growth of the total wealth in the world will be about $700 trillion. Historically, about 5% of the total wealth in the world is allocated to gold. Currently, Bitcoin only takes up about 0.7% of the total wealth in the world. All Bitcoin needs to do to reach $1 million per coin is to reach 3% of the total wealth allocation in the world. And that's not a big ask. Even BlackRock's CEO, Larry Fink himself, has said this on TV multiple times.
If everybody adopted that conversation, but it would be 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 per Bitcoin.
He believes most wealthy individuals and portfolio companies should allocate about 2% of their total holdings to Bitcoin. If all of the wealthy entities in the world does this, at 2% allocation, Bitcoin will be at 700,000, and at 3% allocation, Bitcoin will be at $1 million. This is more of a wealth adoption play in order to hedge against inflation and store value. When you think of it as this angle, it's not a big number at all. It just takes time. And that's why I believe, given enough time, 10 years down the line, Bitcoin should be at $1 million. So that's why my goal after this cycle is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible, because I believe 10 years down the line, Bitcoin will still outperform all other cryptos. I don't believe Ethereum, XRP, Solana, or any other altcoin can do another 5x on top of this cycle's high to reach multiple trillions of dollars. Okay, that is my full beginner's guide to this crypto bull market. If you want a simple way to follow my exact entry and exits, both for long-term holdings in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and short-term swing bots, you can check out my Pionex trading bots with the link in my bio and my updated spreadsheet that I'll be checking in every couple weeks. In here, I have my hold bots. These are long-term bots that help me to hold my core Bitcoin and Ethereum Solana holdings, with the lower range on Bitcoin being at the 50-week simple moving average, as you can see right here, at $94,000 currently. And the high-end upper range take profit target is exactly at 200K, which is the level that I have shown you earlier in the video. Same thing for Ethereum. My high-end target is 10K. For Solana, that's at 600. For XRP, that's at $6. These bots are automatically set up to be buying more if price dips and selling slowly until it reaches the high-end take profit target. It's a very simple DCA strategy, both for entering the market and exiting the market. And for my swing bots, I will be checking in these every couple weeks as these upper range take profit targets are hit. This month in August, I'm mainly focused on the top 10 to top 20 altcoins. If this altcoin season continues like the way I expect it to, then by September and October, these swing bots will likely have some lower cap altcoins as well in the top 50s. And then by the end of the year, we'll be moving into the top 100 altcoins. So if you like to trade the altcoin swings with me, these are the best ways to do so. You can copy my bots directly, or you can check out my live streams that I'll be updating every week and find these TA and the parameters directly on there. If you have any questions about these, join our free trading community, the Coiners, with the link in my bio as well. And lastly, follow me on X at Virtualbacon0x. I'll be updating things much more quickly in text format when I'm tweeting out quick altcoin swing trades before I make them into these in-depth videos and live streams. That's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next one.